Okay guys, so I'm here today to be talking about the art of scissor over combing. Now, especially when you want to pick out your perfect comb for when applying this technique. As you see here, I left my mannequin hair longer in the back here. So you'll see that I'm going to be taking it down or going shorter with the scissor over comb technique. Now, of course, the three different type of combs that I use. Of course, we can use a jumbo one, which we normally use in clipper over comb. Then, of course, we have this almost like specially made for scissor over combing, and all the combs I use are YS part, and it's a Japanese plastic, rubber, really quite bendable, and of course, it's a bit more tapered. Now, the main one I'll be using is the multi-purpose cutting comb. The reason why is because what's great about this, I know I can judge whatever length I want to achieve, but with the wider teeth, it will go through the dry hair, and also when I take it short enough, I could refine it with the shorter side, okay, where the teeth are a lot finer. Now, for the beginners, you probably want to start off with more of a jumbo comb first because it prevents you from taking it too short right away. Now, as I proceed, the key thing is, making sure that I'm going to be keeping the comb at almost like a 45-degree angle, making sure that a lot of times when I hold it, if you see here, I hold it in the middle with my middle finger balancing it, my thumb pressing down, and making sure as I proceed, moving my way up the head. Now, the key thing is always making sure that the comb and the scissors are moving in unison. And sometimes, some of my students, they actually jam the comb right against the scissors to keep them balanced. Now, it may work for some of my students, but doesn't work for all of them. I mean, unfortunately, I can't do it myself. I'm a bit old school, so I'll be working my way up. Now, at first, it might seem like I'm just taking off just, random bits of hair, but what I'm doing is I'm gradually taking it shorter and shorter, okay? Now, the key thing is making sure that I'm working a bit more slower at this point. You can even start warming up your scissors, going up first, working your way up, and a comb down. And if you see, what will happen is I'm going to continue this, really also working visual, making sure as I comb it down, I can see the way the shape is forming. So key thing, working up. Now I want to stop especially where this is the layering area here. So originally I first layered the haircut, and then with the graduation, which pretty much primarily sits below the occipital bone, I really just want to go in and fine tune it. So you can use this for tapering, depending on how short you want to take it. As I'm moving up the hair, really just get more of like a smoother finish. Now, the key thing is I'm not jumping around, okay? So I'm not doing over here, then here. I need to keep everything in unison so I get much more of a smoother effect. If I jump around a bit, it's going to look like Swiss cheese. Okay, so it's going to be holes here, there, and everywhere. Now, another little trick they can do, a little visual when checking your scissor over combing. Okay, I hope I'm explaining this the correct way. Now, what happens is, if you see here, you see that big white line here that's a bit jumpy. Now, as a visual aid, when you're checking your scissor over comb through the haircutting procedure, what we're trying to achieve is that white line looking straight across, okay? Because what happens is, if that white line is a bit of a bump or baseline, that longer hair, which is where it drops down, is heavier. That means it's going to bring that white line down. The short hair will stick straight out. That's why we have boom, like that. That means there's long hair in the middle where it drops down. And that's where you need to go back over to smooth it out. So it's my little visual check here. So let me see if I can fix that for you. Now it is a bit tricky on mannequin heads, so it's sometimes it does or it doesn't work, but I think it's, we'll see what happens today. So that's getting a little bit straighter, isn't it? So I want to keep at it, really refine it. That's getting a little bit straighter. Now I'm going to proceed over, I'm going to work here, keeping the gentleman a little bit more tilted, because then it becomes a flat surface. By stretching out the neck, it becomes a flat surface here. If he is up, it's going to be that little bit of a dent here. So. Yeah, there we go. It's becoming more of a straighter line. So you really just want to fine tune it. This is just a very quick example. And for myself, I'm using my 5.5-inch scissors. These are the ones that I choose for this particular technique. They do work a lot better when the scissors are longer, because you could control more of a wider area or surface. So coming up. Now the difference between this and a clipper cut, this tends to give more of like a natural result, while the clipper with the guards will give more of like, makes it look like a buzz cut, really too perfect. With this gives more of a natural effect, where it's, not every guy wants a clipper haircut. So this is why you need to be able to do scissor combing and also clipper work for your barbering clientele. So yeah, the line is getting straighter and straighter. So if you see, I'm just going to continue. There we go, that's getting straighter and straighter there. And that's what I use as a visual aid. And I remember the days that when I was first taught this at my time during Sassoon, when I used to work there as an apprentice. Oh my God, that was the most amazing time, because that really helped me see hair in a different way. So this technique of checking your haircuts usually works great when you're doing scissor combing on shorter to medium length of hair. And you can do this if you do cut women's hair. The shorter looks, you can use this technique, especially when you're checking your graduated bobs. Getting straighter and straighter. You can come this way. And what we're doing is just really fine-tuning it, really get into that zone. You just want it to be very chilled, enjoy the scissor cutting here, the scissor combing. It's more of like a craft, where we're really sculpting the hair, making sure it's coming out perfect. Like I said, for that ultimate natural effect, that natural look. Especially if you're doing more or less, you want to kind of taper it in a way, or you want to give that natural hairline. It's absolutely a perfect technique for doing so. Now, I am doing it on dry hair. The reason why is because, especially when the hair's dry, the hair sticks together. Okay, you have to change that. Cut and start again. Now, I'm doing it on dry hair, is because what happens is, if I'm doing scissor combing on wet hair, the hair sticks together. So when it's dry, it's not going to be a smooth result. When the hair is dry, especially with the blow dryer, it expands it, so I can really see in its most natural state. That's why I want to make sure the hair is dry, and then that's how I'm refining everything here. So hopefully that little tip will help you. Alright guys, so that's one of my helpful hints for when doing scissor overcombing. I know for some of the beginner barbers, they might find it very difficult, but not to worry. keep on practicing because scissor combing is a true art form.